Okay, hi everyone. Hope you all are fine. Acha, in the last lecture, we talked about the ages of computers. Let me write it down. So, in the last lecture, we talked about the ages of computers, and we divided the ages of computer into three different ages. And particularly in the last lecture, we discussed about the devices of dark age. And as you know that all the devices of dark age are either manual or mechanical. So we talked about the manual devices. In this lecture, we were going to discuss about the mechanical devices. So in last lecture, we particularly talked about the abacus, then Napier bones, and slide rule. Okay. So this was all about the first lecture, the previous lecture, and today we are going, in this video, we are going to talk about, uh, we, we will continue our discussion of dark age, but we will focus now on mechanical computing devices. Okay, so let's start. As you can see in the slide, we are going to continue our previous discussion of dark age devices, and in this lecture we will focus on mechanical computing devices. So the question arises, what is mean by mechanical computing devices? So mechanical computing devices क्या होती हैं? So these are the type of devices which still require human force as input, but which also requires some kind of machine in it, like some kind of wheels, gears, rods, and things like that. Okay. The most common example of mechanical devices is a bicycle. Bicycle is a pure mechanical device which, as you know, require human force to run, but it also requires some sort of mechanical parts like chain, wheels, gears, rods, wires. So that's why a bicycle, we can say it's a pure mechanical device. We cannot say it's a mechanical computing device, but it's a mechanical device. But as you know that bicycle is not a computing device, we have to focus only those mechanical devices which can calculate. So in this category, we will discuss all of these devices. You can see here's a listing. It starts from Pascaline. Pascaline was invented by a scientist, Pascal, in 1642. And Pascal is, the word Pascal is also famous for some other thing. Can you guess? Give me the answer on the comments area. That what is the other popularity of the word Pascal? Then it is followed by calculating machine. Calculating machine was invented by Leibnitz in 1672. This was another benchmark computing device. in the history of computer. Then another very important device came after around more than 100 years, and this device called as difference engine. Difference engine was invented by J.H. Muller in 1786, and it is followed by one of the most important computing devices, punch card machine, and it gave the idea how we can give input to the computer. And it was invented by Joseph Maria in 1790. Then the most important computing device in the history of computer is analytical engine, on which our modern computer is based. It was invented by Charles Babbage in 1812. Then the last device of this dark age is tabulating machine. Tabulating machine was invented by Dr. Herman in 1890. So this was the quick overview of the all mechanical computing devices of dark ages. Now we will study in detail, a little bit detail of Pascaline. Pascaline. As you can see in the figure, the diagram of Pascaline. So in 1642, a scientist named Pascaline, a scientist named Pascal invented a machine which called as Pascaline, or it is simply called as Pascal's machine. Now let's see how it worked. As you can see in the diagram, uh, it consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what you can say, dials or drums. So let me write it down. Each of these drum consisted of 0 to 9 digits. Okay. So these 0 to 9 digits are in every wheel, in every drum, and each drum has a scale from 0 to 9. And the calculation of each drum is transferred to the next drum. The working principle of this device is that the calculation of each drum is passed to the next drum. So in this way, the scale of calculation is increased. It means we can represent a very large number in this kind of device. And through this device, we can perform multiplication and division very easily. So it could perform multiplication and division very quickly. So this was a little bit information about the Pascaline. Now we'll move our discussion to the next device, which is called as Leibniz calculating machine. So in 1672, let me highlight it. So in 1672, a scientist named Leibniz invented another mechanical computing device called as calculating machine. As you can see in the diagram, this is Leibniz calculating machine. And unlike other computing devices, Leibniz machine worked on the binary number system. You know binary number system? Binary numbers are consist of two digits, 0 and 1. So this was the first machine which used binary number system on its working. And this gave the idea of working on sorry on off states. So our modern computer is based on this idea of on off states, and first time this idea was given by Leibniz calculating machine. And this device could perform not only multiplication and division but also addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So these are the characteristics of Leibniz calculating machine. This was one of the most important computing devices in the history of computer. Now let's discuss another very important and significant computing device, which is called as difference engine. As you can see in the diagram, consists of so many rods, axles, gears. So difference engine. So in 1786, J.H. Muller took the idea of Leibniz machine. This machine was based on Leibniz machine, and he called that machine difference engine. As you can see in the diagram, this machine is the difference engine. This machine gave the idea, the basic idea of computing, according to which a computer should be divided into three units, and these units are input, processing, and output. As you can see that our modern computer, our digital computer is also based on these three units. So first time J.H. Muller gave this idea that a computer should be made or should be structured to be composed of three different units: input, processing, and output. This was the first machine which gave this idea that the computer should be composed of these three different units. And based on this difference engine, another most important computing device was invented, which we call analytical engine. Analytical engine is basically the most important computing device, and it was based on difference engine, and it was invented by Charles Babbage. That's why Charles Babbage also called as also known as the father of the computer. In the next lecture, we will discuss this analytical engine in detail, and we will also discuss one of the most important computing device, that is punch cards, in the next lecture. But right now, we have discussed three very important mechanical computing devices, that is Pascaline, calculating machine, and difference engine. So that's all for today. Uh, Inshallah, in the next lecture, we will discuss uh, two more important devices of dark age. That is uh, punch card and analytical engine, and also one more tabulating machine. Then our dark age devices, the topic of our dark age devices will over. Till then, Allah Hafiz.